hacking at 13 is pretty wild.
Oh man, at the time, cybersecurity was pretty much different. We didn't have AI and LLMs to help us go through difficult scenarios. So being a hacker at the age of 13 is really interesting, curious, but it can be very dangerous, because at that early age, you don't have a perception what is good and what is bad. And you have a lot of power in your hands. You have a lot of access to information that you can do a lot of damage. Lucky me, I was well educated and used my skills to do only ethical work.
What's the biggest cyber threat lurking under the radar that the industry isn't perhaps prepared for or aware of?
The biggest challenge on this is definitely by zero-day attacks, because they are unpredictable. At some point, you're able to predict some behaviors, you're able to somehow prevent it, but in the most cases, it's really, really, really hard, and it's unstoppable.
How do nation states drive the intensity and scale of cyber?
When we talk for APTs or nation-state sponsored groups, we have to keep one thing in mind. So those nations are giving a lot of money, infrastructure, and hiring the best people they have to launch and to perform those attacks.
Why do hackers keep beating defenders to the punch?
That's what we are doing, and we are punching back to them. It's really hard to anticipate who is coming for you or what other people have intentions in you as a person, or at least as a company.
This is the Secure CyberConnect podcast with Jay Adamson and Warren Atkinson, where we're joined by information, cybersecurity, technology and talent acquisition professionals who share their journeys, unique perspectives and offer advice and guidance. Our topics on this episode will be offensive security, AI, LLMs and tracing APTs. Today we're thrilled to be joined by Drilon Balaj. Drilon is the founder of XY Cyber, an advanced cybersecurity and defense business focused on predictive threat intelligence. Their platform, Mole, is designed to anticipate cyber attacks before they happen by analysing leaked data, attacker behaviour and external infrastructure. His journey with XY has taken him across the globe, in the US, Dubai, Israel and across Europe. Recently, they've joined the Plug and Play Tech Centre and they've launched two major initiatives. The Defend X conference, focused on national security within Kosovo, and the Unit X Cyber Academy, which trains future defenders through real-world hands-on programs. Initially involved in 3 early-stage startups, Drilon's merged back with Innovation Centre Kosovo, this time as a contributor. As an assistant in the training and events department, he's helped deliver over 400 specialised training programs in cybersecurity, software development and DevOps, reaching more than 10,000 individuals and serving as a bridge between the market and the talent that Kosovo has been cultivating. He's also helped over 300 international events, hackathons, conferences, startup competitions, and collaborated with global initiatives like Techstars, NASA Space Apps, Startup Wise Guys and Slush. These experiences have certainly helped him see the power of technology communities and the importance of combining education with real-world opportunity. Throughout his career, whether it be working as head of tech or working directly with government bodies, municipalities, business and international partners, helping shape new programs, policy recommendations and defence-focused innovation strategies, or indeed building anti-money laundering projects and platforms called Hawkeye, Drilon's roles have always been about keeping ahead of the curve and translating ideas into impact. Drilon, quite the introduction, quite the mouthful. Welcome to Secure CyberConnect podcast, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey Jay, hey Warren, thank you for having me here. It's great, and thanks for introduction.
Absolutely. So, look, kicking things off, could you give us a very brief, high-level overview of some of the key themes that we'll be exploring in our discussion today?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So today, what we are about to talk is entirely artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, in which we have components of APT or advanced persistent threats. Those groups of hackers that are sponsored by different nations for different reasons, and the challenges that businesses face during those times. Because nowadays we are seeing that artificial intelligence is being used by ChatGPT, and we are about to explore how hackers are using similar tools like ChatGPT to launch attacks and to make them more sophisticated.
So if you could maybe just talk us through a little bit of an incident or maybe a challenge that you faced in your career that potentially shaped your views on cybersecurity as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most interesting thing is how people have the perception of security, and this is what we deal most because a lot of companies, a lot of people think that they are secure or their data at least doesn't matter. Like there is a question why someone would be interested in our data, and that's a question which we really don't know, but we face every day. So it's all about perception, how humans got the perception towards security and towards securing their data. So what we are seeing is that they don't pay a lot of attention and don't take this seriously until something bad really happens. And then they are full access, like they can give you every detail, every money you ask for just doing the backups and bringing the data back and continuing to have a business going.
That's brilliant. Now let's talk about the invisible cyber war. The malware is getting smarter. So for our audience, could you talk us through the evolution of malware in today's cyber warfare?
Yes, definitely. As we mentioned before in this beginning of the podcast, malwares was everywhere, every time here in our space, and was developed by people. But we have to understand one thing, that attackers are always one step ahead of us as defenders, and there are plenty of malwares in the market that serves for different reasons. And nowadays, what hackers are doing with AI is that they are getting an old malware, let's say, and they are making it customizable for a business or for an enterprise and targeting directly to them. So usually hackers, bad guys, bad actors talks in forums in deep and dark web, which we do monitor, and we try to catch them on the attack pre-attack phases, actually. So before they start the operation of themselves. So this is about the malwares. This is about, for non-technical people, the malware is the virus that inject our computer and does some harm. And usually most of the people take protection from the malware via antivirus, which are signature-based only detection. And we have on the market some 0 days and some things that antivirus or existing defense system couldn't keep track of.
And do you feel that we've seen an explosion in the in 0 days being discovered? Since obviously the last 24 to 36 months since AI.
Oh, definitely yes. I mean, we had some major breaches or incidents with big companies across the globe that included 0 days attacks. And just to give a brief overview, what a 0 day attack is a cyber attack that you have 0 day to fix. And basically, it goes unnoticed for at least 20 days. And those 0 days that people sell on the market are highly expensive, can cost up to millions, but they have more interest on enterprise levels, on government entities. But we have to understand one thing, that our data is being held or on their systems. So if let's say a major company got a breach through a 0 day, then potentially our data, our email address, our password, living address, and some other information can be out there leaked. And it's like after 200 days that you discover that you have been breached. But in the underground world of cybersecurity, yeah, we hear way before people do. So we are here at the information, and our main duty is to collect that information as much faster as we can, and to notify our users or clients that, hey, there has been a breach, you need to change your password, or so on and so forth.
Yeah, we've seen a real example of that most recently. Microsoft SharePoint, for instance, there was a breach there, and I know a lot of organisations in the last 4 or 5 days have been attacked, especially those in critical national infrastructure. And I think I was reading a report earlier this morning that identified a lot of the activity was actually coming from nation state actors, for instance, targeting critical national infrastructure. So with that in mind, how do nation states drive the intensity and scale of cyber conflict?
Yeah, so when we talk for APTs or nation state sponsored groups, we have to keep one thing in mind. So those nations are giving a lot of money, infrastructure, and hiring the best people they have to launch and to perform those attacks. So we barely know who their people are, but what we know is that we know their attacks techniques, and MITRE ATT&CK helped us a lot. Identified all of these APTs and match the IPs with them, match the techniques that they are using with them. So basically, we have pretty much clearer insight and overview than we had before. But we have to understand one thing, that they are really persistent, and they are after it until they've done with everything they started. So APTs is the main threat. APTs is the main threat in cyber warfare.
And would it be safe to say, certain groups have got certain fingerprints, certain key features you can look out for? They recycle certain techniques, software, for instance, malware. Is that safe to say?
So regarding to APTs, they commonly have discussion together in those private channels that they have, and they are doing a lot of exchanging on data, and they are, for example, asking for help. Like we had a case with one APT which targeted Albania, and we saw a lot of posts saying that, hey guys, we need to access an Microsoft Exchange server, and the target is Albania, so we need people to help us in. And then actors from the other countries join the chat saying, I can do this and I can provide that. So basically, this is how they function. This is how they share things, and then they start to cooperate on technical level to use different attack paths. So maybe a country, maybe a company can be a target of 2 or 3 APTs that work together.
And with that in mind, obviously, I think one of the key drivers there for their success is that collaboration. But from your perspective, why do hackers keep beating defenders to the punch, especially if they've got access to see what's going on in these chat rooms, for instance?
Oh yeah, so that's a really interesting question. I mean, that's what we are doing, and we are punching back to them. But it's really hard to anticipate who is coming for you, or what other people have intentions in you as a person, or at least as a company or as a state. So basically, this connects a lot with geopolitical situation, with lost events that happen to your country, and I mean, if you've done something, let's say publicly, or closed or breached an agreement or whatever it can be, then wait, because the cyber attack is definitely coming to you and trying to harm. And nowadays, I mentioned this a lot, that the world has passed the digital transformation. So all of our identity data is out there in the internet, in the clouds, in the servers. And nowadays, if you try to understand one state or one company, you just go online, do a dig search, and you find a lot of data. So in this case, if you have access to those data, then you'll have a better understanding of that, whatever company, state it is. So this is why cyber attacks are being launched. I mean, by technology, you can understand a lot for a country, for a company, and it's the fastest way. It's the fastest way to collect information and to attribute it to other things.
And very briefly, appreciate you can't disclose too much, but what's the biggest cyber threat lurking under the radar that the industry isn't perhaps prepared for or aware of?
Oh, that's a great question. The biggest challenge on this is definitely by 0-day attacks, because they are unpredictable. At some point, you're able to predict some behaviors, you're able to somehow prevent it, but in the most cases, it's really, really, really hard, and it's unstoppable.
And I mean, in terms of cyber defense, Drilon, is it possible to actually predict many of these cyber attacks before they actually happen?
Yeah. So how we do the prediction part is that we match the company infrastructure with APT motives and hacker motives. So first, we need to understand who our client is, what is the infrastructure, where it's located, and stuff like that. And then we need to do the predictive side with what can be the interest of these APTs or bad actors towards that company. And if we are seeing mention of company in the forums that we have access, or if we are seeing that there is a potential for an APT to launch an attack on, let's say, European organizations that are on healthcare, then we mark it as a flag, and through our supervised AI model, LLM model that we have built, it gives us clear insight saying that like 98% of accuracy is that you're being targeted on this software or this server by this APT, and this is how they do act, and this is how you defend yourself.
What do you actually think is maybe holding us back from what you'd class as the perfect prediction?
Oh, the perfect prediction. You cannot never say that you cannot assure anyone that you're doing 100% prediction, because as I mentioned, you can somehow being a target by 2 or 3 APTs, and you don't want to mislead the clients, because if you're saying that the attack is coming from another side and actually the attacks come from the other side, then that would be a disaster. So what do we see most is like some people just join those places that we collect intelligence and we collect data, and type things that are irrelevant or false positive. So if we gather data that are false positive, then we will not be able to do the perfect prediction, and that's where the problem is. So basically, we have to go ourselves, despite the machine work that we do, to analyze the data, to analyze that intel, and make the accuracy right.
Are there any other early warning signs that you would sort of suggest that people look out for?
Oh, definitely yes. One of the things that I would really mention and that people neglect is doing updates. Like when you see an update on your software, on your system, do an update. Don't use the same password for every account. The other thing is that I prefer not to store passwords on browser data, because what we are seeing now is a new trend with info stealers. They're not anymore with coming after your company email. They are coming after your personal email. And after they got access to your personal accounts, to personal PC, which sometimes people use to open the email work or something like that. Sometimes we see cases where they download films or movies from torrent sites, and with that it's come a package of malware, which after a short period of time leaks all of your data, cookies, browser history, saved password, and everything online. So this is another thing that we are seeing as a major problem, and I would suggest at least to stay ahead of these things.
And how are attackers weaponizing AI and LLMs at the moment? What are you seeing in real world? Have you got any stories that you could perhaps share with us? Once again, without disclosing anything too confidential.
Yeah, definitely yes. It was interesting where ChatGPT had made the AI accessible for the world. We've been using with LLMs and AI nowadays, which is called sensor prediction for anti-money laundering. But at the very beginning, ChatGPT had some allowed us to write, for example, shells or malwares through the prompt at the very early beginning. So basically, what you could do is you could say that, hey, you need to develop or to write on whichever language, Python, C++, whatever it is, a shell code, a reverse shell that gives me access to a specific server, and the ChatGPT did it. So it's all because we know that ChatGPT have the capability to do and to develop sort of malwares, but it can be used for really bad things and by people. So they have stopped it. And but we have to keep in mind that there are some other LLMs that doesn't have rejection on prompts. So basically, a ChatGPT or other LLMs, Gemini, have stopped, and you cannot just go and create a malware or launch an attack plan from there. But we have some dark bad GPTs and some other malwares that you can actually write that you need a malware or you need a specific cyber attack plan, and it happens. So those are the LLMs that are being used by hackers. At one point, they can be on their local machine, which we don't have access, and they train their models. And on the other point is the ChatGPT with unlocked prompts, let's say.
And is it sort of an easy route for access for threat actors, for instance, to go onto the dark web and use these adversary LLMs as opposed to the defensive ones?
Oh yeah, definitely yes. I mean, previously it was like you needed to connect with Tor, you needed to connect with some VPNs and some sort of these things to get access to Onion browser and then access those LLMs that I've mentioned. But nowadays, what we are seeing is there are a lot of Discord and Telegram groups that brought that entire technicality into one application. So basically, there are a lot of access through Telegram, for example, on those LLMs and on those websites. So nowadays, it's much more easier to get access to those and to use it on a bad way.
No, I appreciate you sharing. And in relation to AI, LLMs, and obviously offensive security, for instance, are there any myths that companies should be aware of? Do you want to set the record straight on a few things?
Yeah. Okay. So I mentioned that ChatGPT is being used by all of the people, and how people are using it. It's really, really interesting. Why is that? Because for example, someone in the financial department is trying ChatGPT and saying, hey, I have this client and I need to make a contract. And on those prompts, you have the name, you have the personal identification number, you have your bank account and everything. So the only problem is not that you're giving those LLMs private data, which are constrained by the laws, but you're leaving a mark in your history. And so the attack scenario can be this: someone gets into your PC, get your cookies, get access to ChatGPT, and then just can do a simple prompt saying that, hey, share with me whatever personal data I've shared with you. So basically, it's one prompt. and it potentially will generate saying that, hey, you created this contract for this person, you have done this agreement, or you have provided this medical health records. Because the ChatGPT thing is our assistant day by day, and we are consulting with it for everything, and we are putting a lot of data. So some companies just banned it from on their network, and doesn't allow their users to use it. But sometimes it's difficult to prevent it being used by personal devices, and so we have two scenarios here. One is you're giving the data to those LLMs, and the other one is that you're leaving this data somewhere where one people can come and read.
Let's talk a little bit about Kosovo. It's clearly rapidly emerging as a cyber powerhouse on the global stage. This, I guess, is probably driven by strategic investments in digital infrastructure and the IT and comms sector thriving, and of course, more robust cybersecurity initiatives. In your opinion, why and how is Kosovo emerging, within the cyber sector, and where do you see its future on the global stage?
Yeah, nevertheless, great question. Thanks for bringing this. So Kosovo has the youngest population in Europe, and all of the youngsters here are heavily involved in technology. So Kosovo produced a lot of talent in software development and in other fields in technology. And what was something really interesting was cybersecurity, and was a training that I joined when I was 13. I mean, it was one of the first training in Kosovo, but since then, the cyber scene has just evolved so fast, and raised a lot of interest from the people around here. So one thing is that we have great talent here. The second thing is that we have a lot of great companies and a lot of great people that are somehow connecting all of these three things together. So saying in a very started, Kosovo played a huge role on this sport. So you mentioned in the intro that I've been part of the training and events department. So we brought a lot of experts from the outside in Kosovo. We connected companies from here with the market. I mean, with the global market, and we try to provide as much expertise from the outside inside Kosovo as much as we could, and it led to very successful things, including that some of the speakers this year and last year on DEF CON and those premier cybersecurity conferences are from Kosovo, and are really developing a solution that could enhance security worldwide.
And that's great to see. And what do you think the impact of the partnerships that you've got with the US and the UK have on the burgeoning cyber scene in terms of collaborating on support or infrastructure or workforce development, as you've touched on?
US and UK are our partners, and are the reason that we have established a strong state and a very strong infrastructure, and we have cyber resilience in Kosovo as well. So we have a great partnership with both countries. We work in government level, which is not what I can talk, but what I can do say is that we have a great connection relationship with premier companies across US and UK. So there is no hesitation to work together. There is no hesitation to have a joint event or something like that with both parties.
And you talked a little bit before about getting into cyber when you were 13, and I think we've talked with you already. I think you said that sort of hacking at 13 is pretty wild. How did that shape your overall approach to cybersecurity from such an early age?
Oh man, at the time, cybersecurity was pretty much different. We didn't have AI and LLMs to help us go through difficult scenarios. So being a hacker at the age of 13 is really interesting, curious, but it can be very dangerous. Because at that early age, you don't have a perception what is good and what is bad. And you have a lot of power in your hands. You have a lot of access to information that you can do a lot of damage. Lucky me, I was well educated and used my skills to do only ethical work. So one interesting thing that I would like to share is my participation at the very first the event was called The Day When Hacking is Legal and was organized by Kosovo government. So the job was to assess, let's say, our government security within the first 24 hours. So I was part of a great team, and we won the first place. But it was really interesting to see how easy it was at the time to lurking into some network and to some databases. So this was one of the things that I'm proud of, because I've directly contributed to solve some security issues regarding Kosovo, my state, and they got fixed. Definitely yes, but it was really interesting, like to access on some government or entity level by the age of 13. So back then, I was reflecting with myself and saying that what could possibly happen if another 13-year-old guy would access that, or what happened if someone with experience would have access to what we found it was vulnerable. And I just understood that you have to be pretty much ethical and to do like good stuff and good work, because with this approach you can destroy a lot.
And on that, how can we best, inspire and encourage young adults to pursue a career in cybersecurity as opposed to being tempted away to the dark side as such?
Yeah, definitely. So I usually do give people both perspective on black hat hacking. I mean, being on the bad side and on the white side. So usually you can do a lot of hacking. You can do a lot of interesting thing in the white side as well. Because what people see and what the precision is saying that, hey, I want to be undercover. I want to be like the guy with a mask. They are usually inspired by some movies, but in the essence, they got caught after a period of time, and they face, let's say, a long period of time in jail or something like that. So it's better and it's more interesting to do some good work that some people benefit from that part. It's still very, very interesting, and yeah, I mean, it's just worth doing it, and you don't have to be afraid of authorities coming and catching you, because I mean, we can't underestimate the power of authorities and defense systems that already are in place. So it's just a matter of time to be caught.
So we've talked with many guests before about how offensive, how every red team should run phishing simulations, or pen testing gives defenders a more effective, actionable intelligence. And we know it's not, as you touched on earlier, it's not about if you'll be targeted, it's about how ready you'll be. So what offensive security lessons can defenders learn in terms of adopting an attacker's mindset, and how does managing that external attack surface change security strategies from what typically could be maybe a perimeter-based model to a proactive exposure-driven defense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So basically, what we see with companies and organization is that they rarely do a pen testing, and like doing a pen testing twice per year on a system, but they forget to understand that these attacks are being evolved every time. So before a company is breached, there are two things. One is the external attack surface. So it's what hackers or bad actors can understand from the outside perspective. And the other one is after having the first access. So on the external attack surface management is about to assess all the external valuable information that the company is linked to. So now we're seeing a trend that cyber attacks, malwares are being evolved, and we can never say that, okay, I've done compliance, I've done pen testing last year, and I'm secure. No, you need to do the assessment proactively, which means you need to have a system that is keeping checks on you 24/7, and it doesn't require a human to stay here. So this is the first part, and the second part is after someone got access into our company, then it can go to privilege escalation, it can go to a data exfiltration, and so on and so forth on this attack path. So having such tools on your system will really help you understand the current security state and what is coming on. So basically, you can redefine your defense strategy, or you can just put some honeypots, so the mouse trap, and to mitigate those things. So it's very important as well to do the red teaming, and the main difference between red teaming and pen testing is that red teaming include as well phishing, include as well social engineering, and you have like to really simulate a real attack. And sometimes you're hired by companies to go to the reception to bypass the first person you met, and then to get access as much as you can. So this is more about red teaming, and pen testing refers only to a system, which can be network, which can be a software, but it's a very specific thing that you need to do. And with all of this information that now we are having in internet, with all the ascent, it's pretty much easy to go to a reception and say that, hey, I'm going to meet with John, which in this case can be the CEO of the company, and I am a representative guy from the lost partnership that we had, etc., so on and so forth. So if there is no way to verify that identity, then John can go upstairs into a data center or into a server room, can inject some USB or some type of attacks, and this is how a red teaming can be performed.
No, that's brilliant. And very briefly, for those that are considering a career in red teaming and offensive security, what would you say the three pros and three cons are as working in red teaming or offensive security?
Yeah. So you, if you want to join offensive security, you definitely need to have a mindset of punching things. It can become sometimes hectic, or you can spend like 2 or 3 days trying to do an exploitation and then it didn't work. But what you need to have is patience and the ability to understand things at the very core level. So if you have those ability, I really encourage you to join offensive security. It's such an interesting field. It's such a nice field. And on the other part, if if you're someone who wants to do more job in defense, and it's absolutely okay. It doesn't make you less skilled in cybersecurity. It's just like what you choose to deal with on your, let's say, 9 to 5. Even though this job isn't 9 to 5, it can keep you all the night up. But it just depends on what you are more likely to do and to give the time to.
And briefly, are there any certifications that you would advise on for those that are looking to progress in the offensive security space?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of certification. For example, offensive security has a lot of great tools, a lot of great training programs. But there's one thing: you need to be able to teach yourself on cybersecurity, because you can go from any type of certification, you can go for any type of training, but if you're not willing to do yourself, then that will be it. So you'll have a certification, you'll have some basic knowledge, but you will not be skilled. You will not know where to implement and how to implement that knowledge that you learned. And by the time it became useless, because it was just a training program. So what we are doing with Unitex here is we are giving our attendees the ability to work on real case scenarios and to implement those lessons in real life impact. As well, we are giving a little space of doing their own exploration, because we may teach them how do they access to a Linux system, how they do the privilege escalation, but the challenging part will be like, how do you maintain access? And you have to Google search, you have to do your own homework in order to keep that running. So this is one approach that we have implemented and saw it very successfully.
And just talk us through a little bit about what sets XY Cyber apart from traditional security tools, please, Drilon.
Yes, definitely. So at XY Cyber, what we are doing is, as we mentioned, predictive intelligence on cyber threats. And the entire approach of our services is being proactive in the cyber scene. So we have a very great cooperation with world-leading US firms and European firms in cybersecurity. We do have a great partnership. But what we are providing to our customers is the proactive approach that helps them defend.
And what do you feel like the future holds for you guys here, for XY, and of course yourself personally?
Oh, the future looks bright. The future looks bright. We have created MOLE, the attack prediction software, which we got accepted into Plug and Play Tech Center, and now we are going internationally. So the tool will be on two parts. One will be a community edition, which companies or interested parties can use that tool to protect themselves for free. And on the other hand, we'll have some subscription based, which will be available after the launch. But we are always focused on giving back to community, because hacking cyber is all about the community. And we see a lot of cases that are open source. At this time, I don't believe that the code will be open source, but at least the tool will be free for some things to access and give the community back. So the future is bright, is very interesting and very promising.
Yeah, well, good for you.
On that, we'd love to have you back on in the future as part of one of the live streams, for instance, where we can some of our community members can have a look at the tool in itself and hopefully gain some access.
Yeah, absolutely. And we commend you on all your efforts, both from a commercial and a community perspective, Drilon. If any of our listeners want to stay connected beyond this episode, and other than LinkedIn, is there anywhere else that you would maybe recommend they can reach out to you?
They can reach out to me via LinkedIn, via website of the company. So feel free to reach out as well on any other channels that we have on social media. Or even if we meet in person at some conferences or sort of like this, just come and say hi. So we're very open for having new ideas, meeting new people, and connecting with community. And this is what we have done with Deaf and Dax as well. So Deaf and Dax conference, it's fully nonprofit. We took some services from our partners, give it for free for the community, for the companies, just for one simple thing, to make them aware of what is the current state of their security, what they need to invest. And we just wanted to bring that that thing on a level of to bring cybersecurity on understanding level from the CEOs and people who put money on it.
That's brilliant. What we'll do, we can share some details of that in our show notes, so the audience can obviously go away and look into that themselves.
Yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Drilon, all that leaves me to say is a huge thank you for your time today, and I guess the community will certainly have got a lot of insight from everything you've shared, kindly shared, and found a lot of value in the episode. As always, to continue the discussion for more sustained engagement, we invite you to join the Secure CyberConnect community, where we offer a range of collaborative solutions for tech and security professionals at no cost. Expansive community access, mutual mentoring, online networking, interviews such as this, panel discussions, and live events and masterclasses coming further throughout 2025 and beyond. If you want to learn more, gain access to the community and any of our initiatives, please visit secure-recruitment.com/cyber-connect/. Thank you.